Hi there. This videotape will introduce you to the new interactive animation capabilities at Showbiz Pizza Place. With the addition of an easy-to-operate control board, a control booth, and a sound system, it is now possible for me to talk to all my friends. I can tell them their names, I can tell them stories, answer their questions. Why, I can do just about anything a real person can do, and it would make a visit so much more enjoyable to Showbiz. Well, now that control system, that gives the operator control over a character just about as much as a puppeteer has over his puppets. The control system is as simple and natural as a hand puppet and gives the operator control over all my movements. The sound system allows both the operator's voice to be heard through the normal show speakers and conversation in the showroom to be heard by the operator in the control booth. The system will increase the value of the entertainment in the showroom and also increase the flexibility of the show as an entertainment experience. The system enhances the illusion that I am a real person, bear, and will increase the excitement level in the showroom and generally make a visit to Showbiz more fun. Now let's take a look at that complete control board, which makes me function. This board consists of 2 hand-controlled discs for my body movements and various other buttons and switches which control different stage effects. Okay, let's look at each of the controls for my body movements. By using the right hand control in this manner, you can tilt my head up, like this. By depressing the right hand control in this direction, my head tilts left. By depressing the right hand control in the opposite direction, my head tilts right. If you rotate the right hand disc clockwise, my head will turn to the left, like this. If you rotate the right hand disc counterclockwise, my head will turn to the right. Pressing the eyes left button on the right hand control creates this response by moving my eyes to the left. Pressing the eyelids button on the right hand control causes my eyelids to raise like this. Using the eyes right button on the right hand control moves my eyes to the right. My mouth can be controlled by the mouth button on the right hand control or by the foot pedal. Switching to the left hand control, you can make me lean back by moving the disc like this. Pressing down on the left hand disc this way turns my body to the left. Pressing down on the left hand control on the opposite side turns my body to the right. Using the button marked wrist on the left hand control causes my hand to move like this. The elbow twist button on the left hand control will move my forearm in this manner. Pressing the arm twist button on the left hand control causes this response. My arm will raise by using the arm right raise button. Let's take a look at the other basic functions on the control panel. This switch on the left control panel will open and close my curtain. These special effect switches control my spotlight, green lights, amber lights, red lights, and my gas pump and fire. This effect switch activates the program you have preset with the special effect switches. Between the two discs is the birthday show switch and a start button, just like the ones at the beverage station. By putting it in the birthday position, it will allow me to talk to my friends for about 10 minutes. And by putting it back in the show position, a show will start automatically. It is important that the use of the controls results in natural movement. My operation should always seem natural and well thought out on the part of my operator. By using a combination of the individual basic controls, the operator can create the illusion of my different actions and reactions. If the basic functions are combined in the proper sequence, my movements will appear lifelike and natural. Now let's take a look at 4 different movements and their proper sequence. Let's start with waving. The proper sequence for waving starts with the body lean button. Next, push the arm twist and the right arm raise buttons at the same time. Finally, press the wrist button on and off. Watch the sequence as the operator uses the control panel. Body lean first, then arm twist and right arm raise together, and last the wrist button on and off. Let's look at this waving sequence in slow motion. To release the waving movement naturally, the control buttons are released in the following order. First, the wrist button. Then, the arm twist and the right arm raise are released together. And finally, the body lean button. Now let's see what the sequence looks like as a natural movement. Proper sequence of functions to create a look of amazement would begin with the head tilt button, next the eyelids, and then the mouth. In slow motion, the reaction looks like this. To release the amazement sequence, first release the mouth button, next the eyelids, and last the head tilt. Realistically, it should look like this. To make me laugh, first use the body lean, then the head up button, next my eyelids, and finally press the mouth button on and off. Slowly, it looks like this. To release all of the controls at the same time. It should be like this. If I get embarrassed, first use the body lean, then the arm twist and right arm raise together, next the head right button, and last the head up. The sequence looks like this. Releasing the embarrassment response happens best if you release all of the controls at once. When I get embarrassed, it looks like this. Oh dear! These sequences are only a few of the ways that I can react. As you use the control panel, you should break down my actions into the sequence in which the basic functions are used. If you will develop the proper sequence for an action and practice the sequence until it comes to you naturally, you will be able to combine different actions to give me the illusion of reality. How about that, guys? Is that a take? We're still rolling. Oh, dear. After you have created the illusion of reality through my movements, it is important to develop a speech pattern which coordinates with my mouth movements. My mouth moves with long and short openings, like this. These openings correspond to long and short syllables in words. If you practice with either the mouth button or the foot pedal, you will be able to make my mouth move in time with what I am saying. After reviewing the audio tape to establish my personality and voice quality, you can develop a normal-looking and sounding speech pattern if you practice my voice in a mirror. Watch for long and short syllables. Practice with the controls and develop a timing that looks and sounds natural. Avoid using a sing-song rhythm. I need to respond naturally. Avoid talking too slowly. Practice to coordinate my mouth movements with what I am saying. By mastering the controls and the sequencing movements in a natural, logical way, and coordinating my voice with my mouth movements, you will be able to give me a life of my own. Before continuing with this videotape, you should go back and practice the basic functions, the sequences of movement, and coordinating my voice to my mouth until you are comfortable in each of these areas. You may stop the tape now. Hey, Looney Bird, why don't we take a break? Bye-bye. Catch you later. Okay, now that you've mastered my controls to some degree, let's talk about the quality of my interaction. First, my movements have to be realistic and have a purpose, as well as being fluid and natural. Next, my personality has to be in sync with my programmed character, and the content of my verbiage, that means what I say, has to maintain my image. And lastly, to keep me looking and sounding the best, I need to be properly maintained, like doing my VCR adjustment every week. And my costume needs to look its best. And don't forget my eyes. Now let me tell you a little about myself. Okay, I was born on March 3rd, 1980. That makes me about, 4 years old today. Today, yeah. And I was born in the back hills of Tennessee. That's bear country, don't you know? And I was an only child, cub, that is. And gosh, well, I didn't write this part, but they say I'm lovable, I'm shy, and I'm so cute, too. Yeah. And when I grow up, I want to go to the University of Alabama. Yeah, I want to play football for Bear Bryant. Okay, let's see. What else should I talk about? Hobbies. Yeah, I like to sing and play music, and I like to eat pizza and honey and berries, and gosh, well, if I can't play for Bear Bryant, I want to grow up and be just like my hero, Smokey the Bear. Yeah. And, you know, if he were here, I'd sing my favorite song for him, Thank God for Kids. And, well, speaking of kids, my favorite story is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Yeah, but I'm also really fond of the book Winnie the Pooh. And my favorite color? Well, I think that's pretty obvious. My favorite color is brown. Brown bear, don't you know? That's kind of a joke. And I like to watch Gentle Ben on TV. And my favorite athlete, that's Yogi Berra. Oh, dear. Okay. Well, I like to play checkers. I wanna play ball with the Bears. When I'm listening to my stereo at home, I like to listen to Bobby Bear and eat some gummy bears as a snack. Yeah. Well, gosh, I gave you an awful lot there, but it's best if you know your character. That way you won't get caught short, if you know what I mean. Well, howdy, everybody. How y'all doing now? We got lots of different openers we can use, and I guess I'll just take a minute here to talk about a few of them. Well, one of my favorites is to come out and find a birthday party. Yeah, and you could single out the birthday person, or I know, you could talk to a soccer team. We've had lots of soccer teams in our store lately. Or you could find schools, like private schools, they all wear the same outfit. If you ever find a group all wearing the same outfit, that's a sure indication. Okay, some other things I like to do is I like to talk to Dave. He's our backstage man. Now, Dave never talks or anything, but he does things like open our curtains, turn on our lights, turns on our amplifiers. Sometimes I try to play a song like this, and I can't sing. And I go, "Hey, Dave, what'd you turn off my amplifier for?" And sometimes he plays tricks, like he won't open your curtain, or he'll open your curtain and not turn your lights on. Well, when the people hear you talking to him, that's when they start to get interested. Or another thing I like to do is, well, I'll practice a song or a joke backstage. Yeah, before I open my curtain or anything. And then when I open it, the audience knows what's going on. But I don't know. So it's like I practice a joke, like, why did the chicken cross the road? Well, the answer is to get to Showbiz Pizza Place. But when I come out and say that, they know the answer. And, well, that just leads to all kinds of interaction between them and me. We have some other ways. Well, the store should have some little recognition cards. Yeah, where Mom or Dad writes down the kid's name. And they give that to the operator up in the control booth. And he can say, "Hey, Jimmy Johnson, come on down. You're the next guest on Talk to Billy Bob." And, well, you can talk to Jimmy Johnson, or after that, well, the sky's the limit. There's just all kinds of things you can do. Or you can tell a story like Goldilocks, the famous dragon slayer, and the Three Bears. Yeah. But before you do, you got to say, "I'm going to tell you a story now, but if I make a mistake, let me know, because I don't know this one too well." Okay? Well, those are just some of the different openings. And, well, there's just so much more you can do. It's incredible. Okay. Well, now that we've done some openings, you have to realize there are times when you just got to get off stage, if you know what I mean. And we call these escapes. Yeah, okay. Some of your typical escapes are like, if you run over time and the show starts, you can say, "Well, I guess Fats and the gang wanted to play a show. Here we go." Or, if it's a song that I sing, "Well, if you catch it before I start," you can say, "Well, we're having such a good time, I think I'll sing a song." Yeah, that's usually really effective. And, well, if you're talking along there and there's a birthday show, Well, you can just do that right from your booth. You can run your own birthday show. And that always helps you if you're running out of things to say. Or, like, if you know your time's almost up, but there'd be an embarrassing gap between when you stopped and when the next show started. Since, well, if you know what the show is, you could do a little promo almost, like an introduction. You can say, gosh, I'd sure like to hear the 12 Days of Christmas, or something like that. But there's another kind of escape that's really important that I need to talk to you about. Sometimes you're going to have some teenagers that think it's really funny to talk dirty and rude at you. Well, right now I got to stress that you will not get angry. I do not get angry. And, well, I don't argue with them either, because there's no point in arguing with a rude person. You just got to remain, well, I'm just my sweet old lovable self. And I can say, well, gosh, it was real nice talking to you. I'll see you later. And close the curtain. Or, if you're on good terms with the guys in the kitchen or in the dining room, you can say, excuse me, can one of you guys come help these young gentlemen, or ladies as the case may be? They're looking for the video games, and have them escorted out quietly. Well, there's just lots of things you can do depending on the situation. You can always ask the manager to help out. Yeah, they're also fully qualified and trained operators, so they know the kind of difficulties you could get into. So, well, what you got to do to escape is know the show, know your time limits, always be friendly and helpful, and, well, just think on your feet. That's about it. And good luck to you. Okay, now we're going to do a little talking about scenarios, or existing conditions and what to do. The first one I'd like to talk to you about is if you say, hey, will everyone come on down and talk to Billy Bob? Only it's Friday night and you get about 900 million kids. Well, when you're mobbed like that, probably the best thing to do is say, excuse me, Ramona, or whatever other dining room member you need, could you come down here and help me get things organized so I don't miss talking to any of my friends? That usually works pretty well. Or, well, another thing that can happen to you is you'll be up there talking away and nobody will be listening. You have what has commonly been called dying on stage. It's a sad fact of life and will happen occasionally. There are things you can do, though. You can tell a story or sing some songs or do a nursery rhyme or something. You can tell your life story, or just ask if a dining room person will come talk to you. When everyone else sees that, they'll see that, well, it's not such a bad deal. Okay, now suppose you've got those 90 million kids on stage. Well, down by your stage, but what happens if they do get on stage? Then it's up to you to get them off. Probably the easiest way is to call that same cast member down. You know, the cast member can explain to them that they could get hurt on stage. And if mom or dad causes a fuss, well, just have the manager explain to them how the kids could get hurt. And I don't want any of my little friends to get hurt, you know? Or we could play Find the Employee. Yeah, give an employee a couple tokens and tell the kids to go find them. And the first 5 to find them and tell them the secret password, like Billy Bob sent me, will get a free token. The first 5, or something like that. But there's a lot of other things you can do. You can set people up like birthday gifts for tongue twisters. Yeah. You can call them down front and say, hi there, what's your name? Hey, you said that pretty well. Do you know what a tongue twister is? And, well, you can get them to try one for everybody, like rubber baby buggy bumpers. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. And, you know, you can lead them in a round of applause after they try, and everyone's getting involved and excited, and you can go like, well, who's next? And that'll just get people coming down there, even a few moms and dads. And we can play Billy Bob Says. That's one of my favorites. It's like Simon Says, only I get to say Billy Bob. Yeah, it's like Billy Bob says, put one hand in the air. Billy Bob says, put two hands in the air and wiggle all your fingers. And you can say, gosh, that looks like spaghetti. And there's so many games you can play. You got to talk to the balconies, too. See, you got to get those balconies involved. They're farthest away, and well, you just got to get their attention, too. Call out someone specific. One more thing you can do is you can start with one table. And this is a great effect. You talk to one table, and, well, then you go on, and you can just watch the effect ripple across the room. Other people start they see you talking to these certain people, and then they start to talk to you, too, at the next table. And you just move on, and you have the whole room chanting, we want Billy Bob or something. Well, those are just a few ideas. I'm sure you can find lots more through experimentation and actual experience with people. Okay, now I want to talk about crowd versus one-on-one interaction. On busier nights, use group activities in place of a lot of personal questions. Avoid long conversations, and even if you get flustered, don't brush anybody off. They all want to talk to you, and Billy Bob wants to talk to all of his friends. And instead of calling individual names, you can ask all the Marys in the audience to stand up, or like that. Another important thing you can do is maintain order. Yeah, you can ask people to stop running and just do all kinds of neat stuff to help out. But on less busy nights, you can use a child's whole name. Use it whenever you can. Parents sure do like to hear their child's name, especially coming from Stage and Billy Bob. You can ask them personal questions like, what school do you go to? What's your favorite kind of pizza? What's your best game and what's your best score? Well, you can just get down and have a really good conversation. But you got to remember, repeat everything the child tells you. Because, well, you can hear it, but the people in the balcony can't. So you got to say it so everyone knows exactly what's going on. And there's just a few more general suggestions. Mention as many people as you can. This gets everyone involved. It makes them more apt to, well, interact with you. And on a really busy night, like on a weekend, you can get flustered and you could lose your temper. But don't do it. It won't solve anything and can only make things worse. Now remember, along with everything else, you are responsible for my character. During interaction, I am completely at your mercy. I am your instrument, and it is important that you do not let me or my audience down. As the spokesman for Showbiz Pizza Place, it's important that you think positively and always be friendly. Don't forget, Showbiz Pizza Place is America's #1 family fun. See you around. Thanks, fellas. I couldn't have done it without you.